Well, this is a video in response to Keith Williams' thoughtful short video just posted on his 5 Watt World site, which I follow because I appreciate the guitar history that he presents on that channel. And the video was simply about listening. And it's something I've talked about on this channel before, the importance of listening to music and seeking out new music and taking the time to listen to music properly. His argument is, backed up by social theorists, is that listening, and a vast variety of listening, makes you smarter, makes you more intelligent, because you're challenging the processes in your brain that deal with hierarchical knowledge and being able to delineate patterns that you haven't heard before, make sense of passages and input, oral input, that you're not familiar with. So you're not computing memorized sounds. You're not just simply liking something because it's repetition of something you've liked before, but you're stimulating yourself to interpret new material. And, I'm pleased to hear this kind of sentiment made because it's something I feel strongly about. I don't know how musicians, first of all, don't have healthy listening habits. I don't know how you can be a dedicated and growing musician if you're not listening to other people, and not just people that give you pleasure, or maybe even people that you can best, or people that you can compete with, but perhaps people that are going to push you and are going to make you feel small and humble because they do things that you don't yet know how to do, but also you don't know how to create that way, if that makes sense. So obviously, I think on some level we all listen to music that is beyond us as music creators. I mean, we listen to Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, what have you, and most of us are not on that plane. But I think there's stuff at the smaller, local, subgenre level, if you like, that can also challenge you. Maybe not to the extent of Mozart's Requiem, but certainly in ways that perhaps a classical composer from that era would not be able to do. So as a musician, it would seem that you would want to have a diverse and pretty well-rounded, I should say, music listening practice. Also, listening to music actively rather than passively. One of the first things I did when I moved here to the UK was to invest in a stereo, and that included a record player. And the reason why I like going back to records and CDs and physical media is because it forces you to sit and donate a certain amount of time to listening. And it's not like putting on a playlist that just goes and you can sort of zone in and out of it. With physical media, I feel like you have to pay attention. You're told when the piece is over, you have to change the record, you have to change the CD. It's a finite length of music. It just doesn't play for you beyond your attention span, like Spotify and Apple Music and all those other platforms do. That's not to say that listening to streamed music doesn't have its value. I mean, of course, you can listen to everything in the world, almost everything. It's at your fingertips now. So there's something to be said for digitized streamed music, but I still think physical media has its place. And I can't imagine being a musician without having, some sort of collection, some sort of amassed music to not only learn but go back to listen to for the first time. Obviously, I can't imagine that world where you play but you don't listen, you don't take the time to study, other kinds of music going on around you. Also, I can't imagine not listening as a human being. It just seems to be a very, basic function of what it means to be alive is to receive sensory input. So, to look at things that are pleasurable or things that stimulate the brain, to listen to things that stimulate the brain, to taste, to touch. These just seem to be very basic necessities of what it feels, what it's like to be human and to engage in conscious living. And music's just a big part of that. For me, putting on a good piece of music and donating your whole attention to it is, on the same level as, watching, a great film or going to an art gallery and seeing wonderful pieces of art or tasting gourmet food. It has its own sensory space in, your day-to-day living. So why not feed it? Why not feed, one of your five senses regularly and give it a well-balanced diet of lots of things. That's just on a human level, not just as a musician. And I suppose, we can't complain that people don't listen, because they do. But how many people listen attentively or donate their whole headspace to the listening experience? It seems like music has become very passive. It's become something we do while doing something else. Something we half engage in. Something that's on in the background at a social event, or something that sort of plays along to something else that we're doing. Whenever you're in a sensory experience, very rarely do people commit their entire activity to that sense. I mean, when you go to an art gallery, often people are sort of looking at the pieces of artwork, but they're also on their phones or talking to someone else or tapping away a message. So it's not undivided attention that they're giving. And we're all guilty of this. I'm not pointing the finger and saying that, I'm better than somebody else. I think we're all distracted and we all try to multitask mentally, and to our great detriment. I think we don't give things the space and the the sort of solitudinal approach that these things need to breathe in. So yeah, I agree we need to listen more. We need to set time and space and dedicate an area of our homes to the listening practice, and to turn everything else off and be attentive to music, so that it can speak to you in a deeper way and instruct you in a deeper way and move you and encourage you and inspire you in your own music playing. And there's no limits to this. I mean, when people say, what kind of music do you like? I don't know what to say anymore, because I literally listen to hundreds of subgenres of music that you can't even define. I'm constantly seeking out new music. To me, it's like a food diet. And you need your greens, you need your proteins, you need your vitamins. Well, music's all that too, and different kinds of music supplies, sort of nutrition, if you like, to the soul. So, Yeah, I agree with everything you were saying. Music makes you smarter. We need to listen more as musicians. We need to listen more as people. We need to donate our entire beings to the listening experience, and set aside time and space. Not easy. We live busy lives now. It's very hard to shut everything off and give music the space that it needs to breathe and to act its magic. However, I think if we make the effort and put aside a little bit of time to do that, it would seem that you can become a better musician, a more enhanced hearer of sound, and an interpreter of the medium of sound, and you can generate your own ideas based on what you're being inspired by coming through from other people, from other entities. So yeah, I know this is not really the guitar based in any way. We can apply it to guitar, but of course this is something that applies to all music and all sound. So that's my take on it. I absolutely agree. We need to listen more. We need to listen more attentively. You can't when you're in a conversation, you can't do all the talking. Listening is an important part of any conversation, and it's the same with music. So there you go. There's my take on it. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below. So please feed me your information. I always read the comments on all the videos and try to respond, and I enjoy that sort of interchange. So let me know what you think of this particular topic. All right, folks. See you next time.